They say now who get money, get sense. You don't ever see poor man with sabi, we know him work, we get strategy. But society no go even look at him once like this because he don't look successful at all. Now, come closer. How poor man go take explain say he know this? Because the world we're in today, if you're not doing anything flashy, if you're not posting, if people don't see what you're doing or you don't live in a big place or drive a big car, they will think you're sleeping on yourself. Have you ever played chess with someone 10 times ahead of you? Like you're there sweating and stressing, and the person is just there watching you, sipping tea or drinking water, and watches you walk into checkmate. You know, life is kind of like that. Some people play checkers, where they're always on hustle mode, always running, always moving, so fast. But the real game changers, they play chess. They don't just think about the move, they think about the end game. So that brings us to the topic of today, street smart versus God smart. Why wisdom beats hustle every time. And I'm still your beautiful host, Adeola Azaria, and this is Becoming with Adeola Azaria podcast. So let's dive in. But before we do not forget to subscribe, to like, to tag, to comment, and to share. Let me take us back to a time in my life where I was always grinding, hustling, running. I was always doing everything. I just wanted to be on top of my game. And I would wake up 4 a.m. thinking of strategies, thinking of this, thinking of 1,000,001 ideas just to become on top of my game. And I was getting so burnt out. Remember the scenario of when you're on the treadmill, you're running helter-skelter, and you're just stuck in one place. And that really hits me. And I realized that I was doing 1,000,001 things, and I was just stuck. I wasn't so happy. And the only thing that I really wanted was true success. I just wanted to be at the top. I wanted to do all the good things, but I just had 1,000,001 ideas without real strategy. And during that process, I found light and clarity, and I found God. And it became a different scenario in that moment. And after that, I had to go through that period of waiting. You remember that wilderness period where you're all alone and you're being forged and you're being purged? And I had to unlearn, I had to relearn, I had to learn a whole lot of things I did not know before. And I had to drop a whole lot of attitudes and behaviors and things I used to do that was not making me focus, or that was just making me just go without being focused on the main goal. And I had to unlearn all those things during that process. And that process was a quiet, isolating one. And during that process, I saw a lot of my mates doing a lot of big things, doing a lot of good things. You remember one of the episodes that I talked about the FOMO, fear of missing out? I also had it during that process because I felt I was missing out on a whole lot of things. I felt that everybody was way ahead of me and I was just stuck in that space. And during that moment, I found light, and God whispered to me in one of those moments and told me, I said, my child, you're not built to hustle, you're built to build. Like, you know what that means? You're built to build. That means you're building legacy. And if you're doing that, it takes a longer period because you're not hustling, you're building. It's a whole different scenarios. And when we started this episode, I'm sure you remember that I was telling us about the chess player, the one that was 10 steps ahead of his game, and the other one that was just sweating and stressing and thinking of what to do, which step to take. And the one that was 10 steps ahead was just sipping and drinking his tea and just watching. And the other one was sweating and stressing, just walked into checkmate. And I learned that in life, God's wisdom is the ultimate. No matter how the hustling and bustling, if you're not at the right place at the right time, you're just chasing what is not. You're just running like an eggless chicken. Remember Joseph in the Bible? He was wise in the palace because he was first wise in the prison. And he didn't even have to hustle for the throne because wisdom actually took him to the throne. Now, don't get me wrong. I know the streets. You've got to be very sharp. You've got to be aware because life will school you if you're too naive. And here's my motto. Know the streets, but don't become the streets. Understand the tactics of the game, but don't even become the game at all. Learn how they do things, learn how everything is done, but you don't need to play the game with them. Because the streets will teach you survival, but God will teach you dominion. Street smart says use them before they use you. God smart says serve even if it's not convenient. Street smart says fake it till you make it. God smart says faith it till it manifests. Now, here's the mirror moment. I want you to ask yourself, am I busy or am I building? Am I street smart or am I God smart? Am I just running or am I being led? I want you to think about these three things and ask yourself these questions. This is not about being fast or being slow. This is about moving in divine precision. A lot of people are on hustle mode, walking around the clock, yet they are still stuck. Not because they are lazy, but because they do not move in wisdom. Now, let me leave you with 4 God smart takeaways. Wisdom is a weapon. Hustle is a tool. Never ever confuse the two. God's timing is not punishment. It is preparation. Discernment will save you from dramas. Hustle would walk you into. Hustle is very loud. Wisdom is long-lasting. Yes, and here is my challenge to you for this week. I want you to pick one area of your life where you would be seeking wisdom. It could be in your business, your career, or your relationship. And I want you to ask yourself, what is the wisest thing to do? Not the fastest thing to do. Because when you're building legacy, you do not build in panic mode. Yes, street smart might get you into the room, but God smart would make you stay, thrive, and bloom in the room. One will give you wealth and the other one might just burn you out. Pick wisely what you want. I'm giving us an affirmation for this week, and I want you to say it as I'm saying it. And even anytime you're free, I want you to still continue to say it throughout this week and beyond. It goes like this. I don't just hustle for hustle's sake. I move with wisdom. Are you saying it where you are? I don't just hustle for hustle's sake. I move with wisdom. I'm not just smart, but I am God smart. I hope you got that right. I hope you got that right. And I want you to always say it anytime you're free. And always remember, whether you're street smart or God smart or somewhere in between, wisdom may look slow, but always finishes awesomely well. And you know what? If Baba God they guide you, you know they carry last. It's not possible. Go John now. And thank you for listening to today's episode. And this is the Becoming with Adeola Azaria podcast. And next week, oh God, I'm coming with the tea. Next week's topic is very awesome. It is facing my fears, and I cannot wait to dive into it. And please don't forget to subscribe, to like, to share, to comment, and to tag. And I would love to really hear from you on your experience about being street smart or God smart or in between or whichever side you pick. Thank you so much.